And let's bring in Republican Senator Susan Collins now. Senator Collins, thank you for joining us this morning. You just heard Senator Durbin talk about his timeline for the Supreme Court pit talk, that he's consulted with you. Are you open to supporting who the president picks?
George, I would welcome the appointment of a black female to the court. I believe that diversity benefits the Supreme Court, but the way that the president has handled this nomination has been clumsy at best. It adds to the further perception that the court is a political institution like Congress when it is not supposed to be. So I certainly am open to whomever he decides to nominate. My job as a senator is to evaluate the qualifications of that person under the advice and consent role.
You say that it's clumsy, but isn't it, as Senator Durbin pointed out, isn't it exactly what President Reagan did when he said he would appoint a woman to the Supreme Court? Isn't it exactly what President Trump did when he said he would appoint a woman to replace Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Actually, it isn't exactly the same. I've looked at what was done in both cases, and what President Biden did was, as a candidate, make this pledge, and that helped politicize the entire nomination process. What President Reagan said is, as one of his Supreme Court justices, he would like to appoint a woman, and he appointed a highly qualified one in Sandra Day O'Connor.
Isn't this process politicized no matter what you do? I mean, look at what happened after the death of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Justice Barrett pushed through in record time. One of the reasons I suppose you voted against her.
Actually, the reason I voted against Amy Coney Barrett was that her nomination and the vacancy occurred too close to the election, the presidential election. And Republicans, just in the Obama administration, had established a precedent that we were not going to confirm someone. It was Merrick Garland in that case in an election year. I did not agree with that decision, but once that precedent was established, and given how close the death of the Supreme Court justice was to when the appointment was made of Justice Barrett, I felt that it should have been up to the next president to make the decision.
You voted for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson for elevation to the D.C. Court of Appeals. If she's the president's nominee, can you support her for the Supreme Court?
I'll certainly give her every consideration. I have no idea, since she was confirmed, what rulings she's been involved in, what writing she has done. And I have not met her personally, and that's why I really appreciated Chairman Durbin reaching out to me and offering to make the nominee available for an extensive interview and to provide me with whatever information I need to make a decision on whomever the nominee is.
You share Senator Durbin's confidence that Electoral College reform, the reform of the Electoral College Act, can take place this year on a bipartisan basis?
I certainly hope so. This is not a small matter. This 1887 law governs the counting and the certification of the presidential vote. And we saw on January 6th of 2021 how ambiguities in the law were exploited. And we need to prevent that from happening again. I have brought together a group of 16 senators. It's a bipartisan group. Joe Manchin is involved on leading the Democratic side. And together we have been having discussions, Zoom meetings. We'll resume them tomorrow. And I'm hopeful that we can come up with a bipartisan bill that will make very clear that the vice president's role is simply ministerial, that he has no authority to halt the count, and that will raise the threshold from one House member and one senator for triggering a challenge to a vote count submitted by the states. This is no small thing. I think it is really important that we do this reform, and I hope it can be done on a bipartisan, overwhelming basis.
The events in the aftermath of the 2020 election show how important that is. As you're working on this reform, former President Trump is out on the campaign trail. He was out in Texas last night suggesting he may pardon those, if he were elected in 2024, those who were part of the January 6 riots. Given that, can you imagine any circumstances where you could support his election in 2024?
Well, we're a long ways from 2024, but let me say this. I do not think the President Trump should have made that pledge to do pardons. We should let the judicial process proceed.
You say we're a long way away from...
January 6th was a dark day in our history.
And it was, and you voted to convict President Trump as well. Why can't you rule out supporting him in 2024?
Well, certainly it's not likely, given the many other qualified candidates that we have that have expressed interest in running. So it's very unlikely.
Senator Collins, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.